today's installment of the Trader Brandon Transmissions.
Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's show. It is Wednesday. We are halfway through, I'd say through the week, if anyone's keeping track. We've got a pretty great guest tonight, continuing our artist series. I guess you would call it. We've had a lot of artists on lately, but Danny Haas is on tonight. I believe I'm pronouncing his name right. We'll clear that up. But we're going to talk some art and see what he's working on. He's got a couple cool pieces. He just released a really great Ned Land piece on his Instagram page. It's really, really great. But we're going to talk about that. For those of you who may have missed it, Ian Glaubinger, yesterday we had him on the show, and he posted a link to one of his Tiki Bars of Southern California art prints that he did. It's currently on eBay, and all of the proceeds are going to benefit Vintiki up in Ventura, California, one of my favorites, and going to benefit those guys and hopefully help them out a little bit during this tough, weird time. But we're going to keep on plugging away. Tomorrow we've got shows. We've got, I just announced we've got a new one coming up on the 15th. We're going to do a skipper roll call. Nothing could go wrong with that. I'm going to invite in a bunch of old Jungle Cruise skippers. We're going to talk about skipping through the jungle. But I see that the Art of Danny has just joined, so let's get him on in here.
Hey. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So how do we pronounce your last name? Let's get that out of the way.
Haas.
I think I did it right.
You did.
I'll have to go back and look at the tape. But I think I was doing it. I like your Rocketeer piece you got back there.
Oh, thanks. It's a Martin Aston Mondo. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
I just got this guy in the mail today. Speaking of, we can geek out about Rocketeer.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The new diamond figure.
Damn, I can get my hands on that.
All right, we got our Rocketeer geekiness out of the way. How you doing? How's your lockdown? Where are you?
Orlando. Yeah.
You're in Orlando. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Lockdown
is fine. We homeschool anyway. And then,
oh, nice.
I work from home, so
awesome.
It's not been too big of a deal, but we don't get to go anywhere, so that's been kind of crazy. Kids are doing fine though.
That's good. That's good. So, how did you get started? Where did your artistic? Where did all that start?
Oh man, it started a long time ago. I was lucky enough in school to have even back then. I had a fifth grade teacher, Mr. Cherniewski, who I've recently still keep in contact with. He noticed some artistic talent in me and kind of like nudged it along with my mom had worked in the school system. She was at the school too. And there's a big mural project that he had me work on, and that kind of sparked something in me that I didn't know that I was pretty stoked about doing art. So through school, I had amazing teachers. Teachers in middle school, I touched Photoshop in middle school, man. I was already getting into digital art. In high school, I had great teachers, and yeah, that was kind of me getting into it. I had amazing upbringing when it comes to art. My parents were super supportive of it and stuff like that. And then right out of high school, I went for a little bit of college, and then I got a job offer at a local screen printing place here in Orlando.
Nice.
Just pulling screens, but it was art, and I did not want to do school. So I dropped out and started doing art then.
I was going to say, it's a much easier argument to not do school when you have a job to carry you on. Yeah, it's much easier.
Yeah, so I started doing art for a local screen print guy. It kind of got into doing stuff for music and local bands, and those bands ended up going bigger, and I started working for Warner Brother Records. Well, Word is a part of Warner Brother Records, and just doing tour merch and band designs, and that was probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and then I went kind of independent and freelance and doing things on my own. So Yeah, it's kind of been a journey, but it's been
Nothing
great.
wrong with that.
Yeah, man.
What? When did you develop your style? You have a pretty unique, very. I say very simple, but I know that doesn't mean that it's easy.
Yeah.
But you have a very unique style. Where did you develop that?
Well, I think I developed that mainly in screen printing. It was such
Mm,
a low color type style that you have to develop, and we were doing all vector based art, so Adobe Illustrator, and keeping art simple. And I've fallen in love with Mary Blair's styling and
sure.
colors and how minimal she was, but how dynamic her pieces were. And so she's been an inspiration to how I design and how I look at things. And I just developed it. I don't know. I just fell in love with that style. It's always been kind of my thing. Um, I like to paint and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I love digital art a lot. It's been a lot of fun.
What about influences? I mean, what were you drawn to other than Mary? What were you drawn to growing up and even today?
Oh man, growing up, I'm born and raised in Orlando. I've been here my whole life. So
Okay.
my dad worked for Disney growing up. He was doing construction, and so he was part of like the building of Polynesian, and he worked in the hotels,
Okay.
so all that kind of stuff. And so Disney's been a huge inspiration for me because I've lived here forever, and we've gone to the parks forever. And I really want to do animation. Was super inspired by seeing all that in Hollywood or MGM.
Right.
So
Right.
that was a big deal. Seeing that really young was really inspiring. Um, yeah, I mean, my upbringing has been great, which has been lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly. Um, do you have what's your favorite IP to work with? I mean, you've got so many. Uh,
Yeah,
Obviously, the ones that I feel like you got the Star Wars and all of those, but then like
yeah,
you just did a gorgeous 20,000 Leagues and
yeah.
you got some Jaws thrown in there. What's the most fun that you like doing?
It is Star Wars. Star Wars is a blast for me to do, and that was like a dream to be able to be contracted to work on stuff like that. Yeah, just pop culture in itself. I mean, growing up with all these films and comic books, and just to be able to even remotely touch that and lend some sort of, you know, um, look of your own on it, and it's wild. I could do Star Wars forever. That's the thing. I mean, it's just my bread and butter. I love sci-fi and all that jive. Um, but yeah, it's definitely Star Wars. I mean, I can't go wrong.
Do you have a favorite piece?
Oh man. Oh goodness. Um, I did the Clone Wars animated series was there's a character called Ahsoka, and I did an Ahsoka piece for Star Wars Celebration a couple years ago when I was in Orlando, and that was
Okay.
the first time I got into the art show there, and that was like my real the thing that launched me into Star Wars, kind of the not fame, but you know what I mean. Like I got popular with that kind of
Right.
style, and
Right.
it was the first time people really took notice of my Star Wars art, and it was my first licensed piece. And
Mm,
it really, it's not my best work, but it's always going to be the one that I cherish the most because
right.
it's sort of put a stamp on who I am and who I am in like this industry. So yeah, this Ahsoka piece I did. It's just a simple front shot of her looking up. It's just a powerful moment in that story of hers, and it just resonated with a lot of people. It sold out so fast, and I mean, it was a
Mm,
moment. It was a great moment.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, let's see here. Let's see here. A couple questions that people have sent in. This one
Oh
just makes
no.
me laugh. How does he keep that beard so glorious?
Quarantine.
There you go. I was gonna say, and I wasn't planning the timing of you drinking while asking that question, but it worked out.
Nice.
This is what happens when you open up questions to the Instagram community.
I do know that if I ever shave my beard, my wife will probably leave me. She's a big fan of the beard. And also, when I shave it, I look like the chubby kid from Jojo Rabbit.
Which is not that kid's great.
Oh,
That
that
kid's
kid
awesome.
was, it was so good.
Someone just asked about your thoughts on Dune and if you're excited for the reboot.
I have never read the book. Recently, I've watched the movie pretty much for the first time, and I'm not. We'll see. I'm not a big Dune fan, but I'm excited what Denny's going to do with the IP. It could be amazing.
Yeah, there you go. Let's talk about screen prints for a while, or for a couple seconds here. Why do you feel that screen prints are just so darn cool? I mean, I love them. We had some other guys on. You know, it seems to be they've thankfully kind of started to come back around, and you know, people are starting to get familiar with them again. But what are your thoughts on screen prints?
Yeah, I mean, I have a giant stack just laying flat that I just can't stop buying. I mean, there's something about screen prints. It's different than a lithograph. I mean, lithographs are amazing and digital prints are fine, but it's paint on paper still. It's still this ink. It's still this old process that just feels very, I don't know. It's just something you want to collect. It's cool to be a part of it. There's nothing like a screen printed poster. You know when you see one. It's just the layers and even the registration when it's off a little bit. It's still really cool to see just the flaws and the mistakes of it. And it's not easy. Screen printing is not easy. There's art to it. You got to be able to know what you're doing. It's just, I don't know. It's great that it's come back in pop culture because it's something I love so much. I mean, it's how I got started. It's a process, and I love being a part of that process.
It's really cool because I mean, I've dabbled in it a little bit with some of the work we did out in California Adventure when we did the new entrance on Buena Vista Street. We had some posters that I said, you know what, I'm going to screen print these suckers, and
that's awesome.
And we did, and like you said, you walk in and there's just something about it that you can tell. And we even went as far as pushing those registrations a little bit so that it was a little off and even made it look a little more handmade. But I think, like you said, the ink on paper thing, it's as close as you can get to owning an original without shoveling out a ton of money, because it is one of a kind, you know, thing. Everyone's different.
Yeah, for sure.
Theme parks. Let's talk parks. You're an Orlando guy. What's your favorite park?
Right off, I mean, if I'm going to answer right away, it's Magic Kingdom. That growing up with Magic Kingdom, that was always a treat. I love being in that park. I love the smells of that park, the music, every land. I have a favorite spot. Magic Kingdom is a favorite park. It was great being a '90s kid though, because when Universal Studios opened, that rocked my world. So there was, I remember in fifth grade, I think it was fifth or sixth grade, a buddy of mine on like Fox Kids on Saturday or something when the X-Men was on. He won some contest where he got to bring two friends, and he brought me and my buddy John, and they did this X-Men live show. I don't know if you remember it. I
do.
They did
in the studio park.
Yes, in the studio part, right in front of where they did the Beetlejuice stuff, in that little courtyard where Mummy is, and Storm would swing in, and it had like Green Goblin and Mr. Sinister. Like, they're bringing out the '90s X-Men, and it changed. And we got to do that when you walk in the entrance, there's that balcony area. There was like a barbecue they set up for us up there.
Okay.
Do I have that photo? I have a photo of me and Green Goblin somewhere. I mean, Universal, Studios changed my life for sure when it opened. It was a cool not answer to Disney, but it was just it's a different park. It's a different feel. I miss the Jaws ride. I will riot when E.T. goes away if it ever does. I love that ride. Is so ridiculously good, and it's got memories. And I was pissed when Back to the Future went away. I'm not a Simpsons fan, but so that made it worse. But Magic Kingdom is my favorite for sure. Animal Kingdom's grown on me as I've gotten older. Epcot's been more cooler. I didn't care for it much as a kid. Hollywood Studios is just keep getting better. So all these parks. I mean, IOA was also groundbreaking too, but Harry Potter Land is divine.
Yeah, it's fun to watch them keep up with each other, and it only makes both products better. You know, there's
exactly. It's
no
like
need to
Galaxy's Edge
compete.
opens, and we're like, great, what's next for Universal? And then, great,
Right.
what's
Yeah.
next for
Now
Disney?
what do we got down the street? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you said though, that '90s Universal and all that, because I mean I'm a Florida kid, and yeah, always was I loved Epcot, I loved studios, you know,
Hmm.
MGM and all that. But you open a park that gives me Ghostbusters and King Kong and all that, and
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
there. You know,
Gosh,
that's
I
a
remember. Gosh, they had that Jaws. They actually had that model that sat out there forever, and that like where Twister used to be. They used to have
oh
that
yeah.
Bruce that sat out there, and it was amazing to see.
In the out in front of the
The
boneyard, out in
Boneyard,
front of
yeah, that's what they called it.
where the amphitheater is now.
Yes, exactly. I forgot. Yeah,
And I
that
think they
Boneyard.
used to have, yeah, there was a Bruce out there. There was, for some reason, I want to say like maybe a Flintstones car, like
Yeah.
really random
Yeah.
stuff. But
Oh
it was
man.
cool.
Yeah, that was the best.
What about favorite attraction?
My favorite attraction is Peter Pan's Flight. It's my go-to. It's a stupid long line for a really short ride, but that ride, it always, I don't know, it was my childhood, and it always sticks with me. I love taking my kids on it. Yeah, I mean, it's just so much about that ride I love, and I actually like the Disney one a little better. They
Mm,
have an added room where you circle the island, and I love that little part. And you're going by yourself. You're not on a track with people. So Disneyland has it
right,
a little
right.
better. But Peter Pan's Flight, yeah, that's my go-to attraction. I know.
It's hard to beat that one. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
reason it's always an hour and a half wait for it.
I mean, Peter Pan as a story, the cartoon it always evokes so much imagination. So that just sticks with you, and that's yeah. That I mean, second would probably be Haunted Mansion. I'm a big Haunted Mansion fan, and then you jump over to Jungle Cruise, and you can't beat these rides.
Yeah. It's a vicious, it's a good circle of fun
Yeah,
ones right there. Yeah, all that backside. Yeah, because you got like Pan and then Mansion's right there, and that whole
yep,
little backside of Fantasyland
yep. You
is
just circle around.
pretty strong. Pretty strong.
What's
What
yours?
about Tiki?
Are you
What,
gonna say Jungle Cruise? Has anyone asked you yours?
it depends on it depends on the mood. It depends on Jungle's always great. I ride it frequently, and then kind of it's been a long time since I've ridden it and really been entertained.
Yeah,
Mostly because I know all the jokes from
yeah.
working it and all that. So I do find it even more meaningful and better when somebody does actually crack me up. Like that's really that really
Uh,
counts. Currently, oh geez, my favorite park is probably Animal Kingdom.
oh yeah,
uh, it just as the other ones have changed, and then getting older and and working in theme parks, and then looking at the design of Animal Kingdom and the detail and the layers and the oh my god, I mean, you could just spend a day at Animal Kingdom just walking around, don't ride anything,
yeah.
and just look at all the buildings, go down every animal trail, do that, and
It's so
that's a
true.
great day.
My wife and I, we do that. My kids will spend the night sometimes at my mom's house. Saturday morning, we'll jump up and we'll go to Animal Kingdom and just walk around. Maybe get a couple fast passes before we go, but it doesn't matter. The tiger trails, the jungle, the gorillas. I mean, Animal Kingdom is no joke. I mean, when people come to town, I told them not to miss it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it.
It always used to drive me nuts when people would be like, "Oh, it's a half day park, big deal," and I was like, "Then you're not doing it right. If it's only a half day, you're not going down the gorilla
Right.
trails. You're not going to see the tiger. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's so
Just
true.
riding Primeval Whirl and leaving. I don't know what you're doing to make that park a half day park."
120 minutes for Pandora.
What about tiki bars? You got a
Yeah.
favorite tiki bar you've been to?
You know what I'm going to say. It's always Sam's. Yeah, I love Sam's. I love being there. I love the vibe. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, Three Dots was a great one I went to in Chicago. You can't beat that one. And yeah, I forget the other one I was at in San Diego. Forbidden. Was it Forbidden Idol?
Yes. Wait, San Diego's. I get them confused too, because Pagan Idol's in San Francisco. So
Oh,
yeah, Forbidden is
yeah.
San Diego.
It's Sam's. I love you. It's Sam's. I
So
can't
when
beat
are you
it.
gonna do a Sam's piece? You could work that into
Oh my
your.
gosh. You know I
You
should.
could work that into your Festival of the Arts.
Yeah, I see. I'm at Festival Arts only for Star Wars. I need to get on that Disney side, you know?
False Idol. That's it. False Idol, San
Oh,
Diego.
thank you.
Sorry, False Idol.
Thank you, DJ. I love you.
Yeah, False Idol. Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta do a
false idol.
Sam's piece.
I know. I
Just,
will. I'll do one just for you.
just there you go. Or tell them that next year's the 10th anniversary.
Oh, that's right. Oh man, it's gonna be a good time.
So if they give you any slack in the marketing department, just go, hey,
Yeah.
10th anniversary. It's a big deal.
Exactly.
What's your favorite drink when you go to these places?
It's a Mai Tai. I go for a Mai Tai every time. Where did I have one? Trader Vic's in Atlanta almost destroyed me one night. It was during Dragon Con, and they were doing like $3 Mai Tais, and it ended up being a good time.
Don't remember much of it, but I remember it was a good time.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I like this question that Chase just mentioned, and I think I'm going to add this to my repertoire of questions.
Oh, no.
What's your least favorite attraction?
Oh, do I have a least? I have to have a least. I mean, oh my gosh. I get salty about things that took place of things that I loved. So
Sure.
I'll always be salty about poo.
Yeah.
Not just poo. I guess the poo play area that took away 20,000 from me.
Yeah.
I don't really hate much of it. It's funny. I think it's changed though, because now that I have kids, they love all the things that I wouldn't normally go on.
It's a whole different perspective.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And so I don't like Splash Mountain. I don't like getting wet. Yeah. I mean, I don't like Frozen. I mean, I like it, but I want Maelstrom back.
Sure.
But whatever. I mean, I'm not going to complain too much. IP is what it is. We're already going down that path. There's only so much we can do.
There's only so much.
Yeah, I don't know if I actually hate a ride. Maybe I do. Maybe Chase knows the answer and he's waiting for me to say it.
He might.
That's what he's doing.
Another question that someone wrote in, and it's funny.
God.
I like when people send in questions that have nothing to do with anything, that are just completely out of the blue. This question is Civil War or Endgame?
I know. I can only assume I know the people that sent that, and they just want to get me riled up. I hate these questions. Neither. I don't want to watch. You're gonna get me saying this on live stream,
Which will then be reposted later.
Oh God, I don't want to watch Endgame ever again in my life. I don't really care for Civil War. I love the comic too much. If you're gonna ask me my favorite Marvel movie, it's Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier. Those are my two faves.
There you go. People are asking about Megacon. You still going to make it in June if we end up getting a show in June?
I mean, if it all depends on what's cleared up and what they say is safe, and I don't want to be irresponsible. I'll be there if it's there, I think.
Yeah.
It's a hometown show. I've been going forever, so
I love
really
that show.
hope it
Yeah,
happens.
I've got stock everywhere for that show, so I'm ready. But
I
yeah,
know you
it
do.
depends on depends on if we're good to go. You know.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know how many cons are actually going to happen this year. I'm really not wanting Celebration to get canceled, but
Yeah.
you know,
I have a hard time believing June will pull through, just because currently
I
the
know.
Orlando Convention Center is a testing ground.
Right.
Just makes me a little nervous.
Oh my gosh, these questions. Luminous being shirt. There you go. There you go, DJ.
Dun, 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 dun. I dare say we may have burned through the questions already.
Well, it's only been 23 minutes. How you find?
I know.
Am I not taking not being more in depth for you?
Okay, let's start back over at the beginning.
Run
Question
it
one.
back. Run it back.
Yeah,
Hey, how
go.
are you?
Let's go back. Let's go back. What do you got? What do you got coming up? What are you working on now?
I'm about to submit 2 pieces for celebration this year for the art show. I can finally, I think I can talk about it. I have an official licensed Rocketeer Tiki mug coming out at the
Hey,
end of the year with Beeline and Geeky Tikis. So I'm super stoked
nice.
about that. Should be seeing some concepts soon. I know it's in my Instagram feed, but it's changed a bit, what it looks like. So I'm very excited about doing that. They're doing like a really cool artist series so it's not
Nice.
just like a random tiki mug. It's going to showcase some artists, and not just me. There's a few others I think a part of it. So I'm very excited. I mean, I have you to thank for that too. I mean, you got me in
Awesome.
contact
Yeah,
with
yeah.
them. You put us together, and stars aligned. So I'm very
I do a
excited.
lot of things for my own selfish reasons.
Oh, I got it now.
It's I hate to burst anybody's bubble.
Yeah.
That's all I did. And I mean, you're probably the same way. Anything I make that I sell on my website is just because I wanted it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's
I
funny
got to pay
because
large amounts of money but make hundreds of them so that I can have mine, but then I sell off the rest.
right, exactly. It's funny because I did kind of like a claim to fame. I did a lot of half and half stuff. And people are like, where's this and where's that? And I'm like, I don't really like that, so I'm not going to do it. So it's like if I have it in front of me, because I'm a fan of it. I'm not going to, I don't know. It's just, there's some stuff I don't know. I don't enjoy just kind of doing things for money. I mean, that sounds weird. I don't know how to put it. Just
No, it's
doing
true
things
though.
to just kind of, bank on things. I don't know.
I mean, you got to do what you like and what makes you happy, the whole way through.
Yeah.
Someone just asked, what were your first thoughts in Galaxy's Edge?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's pretty mind blowing. It's very immersive. As a Star Wars fan, I don't know how you could ask for more. I mean, it's pretty incredible. I love being there at night. Nighttime is just wild. The colors, I mean, it's also the Florida sun has gone down.
That helps.
So you're
That
not
helps a
you're
lot.
not baking. I got to be there one of the nights when they did the X-wing drones, and that
Oh, nice.
was unreal to see in person. I thought it was going to be cheesy, but it worked, and I'm kind of bummed that it's not there all the time
Sure.
because that was rad. They did it really well. Rise is amazing. I've done it so many times now. It's a great ride. I mean, it sets a bar that I'm hoping to get something Harry Potter like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that immersion is ridiculous.
Favorite piece of Disney memorabilia that you have?
Whew, man. Okay, well, it's more nostalgic. I have my dad's old construction work beanie that he had.
Nice.
I have my very first I have my very first ticket still. When my wife and I went for the first time.
Awesome.
It's funny because it wasn't the current ticket, but it was one my parents found that they had. Here, let me grab it real quick. I mean, sorry. Look at this bad boy.
Nice.
Yeah, just those old. They're like it's in a box somewhere. They stamped
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, our first time to Disney was '98. I mean, I've been with Casey forever. So yeah, I just got random things along my travels. I keep stupid stuff like stubs and I have my first parking that I paid for pinned to the wall. I mean, I keep dumb things, but I love it.
That's funny. I have a feeling somebody's wanting to rustle your feathers here, but everybody wants to know your thoughts on the Eagles in Lord of the Rings. What's the deal with the Eagles?
Well, the Eagles aren't slaves, and also if they flew with the ring, Sauron would just knock them out of the sky. I mean, come on, think, people. Use your brains. Read a book.
I like that we have hecklers on the show with us this evening that just want to.
I have great friends.
Just want to, rustle you up there. All right. Who else?
Someone
Who else is legitimate?
The Kong stuff behind you. Is that a Kong statue?
I have my.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
This big guy.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, he's great. He's pretty awesome. And then I just it was an eBay score.
Let's
I
see
was able
this.
to track this guy down.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's that's
And the
sick.
base is great because it says the eighth wonder of the world. And
Hmm.
these were actually done by Weta, and they did the whole series. They did all the dinosaurs. They did Kong.
Wow.
They did all of them. But this particular set, they're numbered too. They only did 4,000. This particular seller did not know what he had, so I was happy to get this one. The dinosaurs
Nice,
are a little more expensive,
nice.
but
That's rad. Were you a
what
part of
about?
the Kong ride stuff?
I was not. That was right before I got to Universal's, but
Oh man.
I would have killed to have worked on a Kong attraction in any way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. I love that new one. I love that old one.
Oh my gosh, the old one. I can still smell that subway. It had that smell to it. Oh my gosh. Oh, that
It's hard
old
to
Kong.
describe that one to people who'd go, "What happened?" And I'm like, "You go in a subway
Yeah.
and it's
And it,
graffiti everywhere," and they're like, "In a park?" And you're
yeah.
like, "Just trust me on this." Yeah,
But also the subway is suspended. Who cares?
I don't care. There's a giant ape, and there were helicopters that fell out of the sky. It
Oh
was
my gosh.
awesome.
Yeah.
Any new Marvel pieces coming up in your
Mm-mm.
lineup?
No, I've the last stuff I did for Marvel, I did some book covers for them for the cinematic movies, some novel stuff.
Hmm,
But I've not stepped away. I mean, Marvel, I just haven't been a part of much Marvel stuff recently. I've just Star Wars and Lucasfilm have kind of taken over, kind of doing all that stuff with Acme Archives and Indiana Jones, and so that's kind of been where I'm at right now. I mean, if Marvel knocks again, I'm going to answer, but
sure.
I'm not pursuing any of it just yet.
What about Boba Fett stuff? Anything Boba Fett you can
Mm.
talk about?
He's a part of a piece that I'm working on because it's going to be the 45th anniversary of
Mm,
Empire this year. So yeah, there's going to be some more Boba stuff. Um, yeah, I mean, it's cool because now I get to kind of just pitch things, which is fun. And just kind of like, if I'm in love with this right now, I'm going to see if they'll dig it and I'll get to do a print of it maybe. And, it's kind of fun. I can't, oh gosh, thoughts on Indy 4.
I was gonna say now Chase is trying to rustle up both of us.
Yeah.
Now I feel like just kicking him
Wait,
out of
wait,
the
wait.
feed here.
What are your thoughts on Indy 4? Okay, so recently I just did a watch of all four in the row.
Okay,
Um, I remember disliking four a lot when I saw it in the movie theater.
sure.
Um, and so I was just gonna just burn through them. So it was like 2 weeks ago I did this. And when I got to four, it wasn't as bad as I remember it. And there were parts of it that I loved. And as a whole, I was like, oh, this is fine. This isn't as bad as I have made it out to be, and how a lot of people, I'm assuming yourself, have made it out to be. Uh, but four was fine, and actually came around on Temple. Temple was actually if we're going to just talk of the three, it was my least favorite of the three, just not because I hated it, just because it just was. I'm a huge Last Crusade fan, and
Yeah,
so DJ,
I like
I'm
DJ's
not wrong.
counterpoint.
It's
You're
There's
wrong.
good parts in it, and I love Harrison. So anytime he's wearing the fedora, I'm not going to look away.
Sure.
Um, so Temple came back around on me. I kind of fell in love with it a little more this time. It was a lot of fun. I forget how good
Temple
it
is all.
is.
Yeah, Temple has always been my favorite. If you're just looking for a just perfect action, what you want
Right?
that character to be,
Yeah. I
and
kind
all
of
of that,
forgot.
it's
That last
all
like
the way Temple.
45 minutes is just, I mean, even that last maybe hour, maybe 45 minutes, but every scene, there's just something amazing in it. I don't know why I skipped this movie so much.
And Temple's crazy to see on a big screen because by the time they get to the bridge and the whole showdown on the bridge, you're like sweating. It's
Yeah.
just like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
It's like all that
Uh,
happened, and you still have the bridge scene.
Raiders, I love up until he gets the arc, and then I can kind of turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last Crusade, I think, is beautifully written. I love Last Crusade.
Hmm.
As much as people want to whine about Marcus being goofy and all that.
Yeah.
We saw Marcus for 8 minutes in the original. How the hell do we know he wasn't always goofy?
Right, yeah, exactly.
I love the relationship with Marcus and Dad, you know, that exchange in the tank, the secret hand, like, it's just beautifully written. When you get to 4,
let it out.
I thought the one part I really liked was I liked them pulling Indy out of the trunk at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah.
Made sense. It fit. So those are my thoughts on Indy 4.
Okay.
Here's my thought with Indy 4, honestly. I felt like everybody just went, it's Indy, they're gonna come see it. Let's just have fun.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I felt like if you really dig in, and it's funny, it's a funny comment because I love Jaws and I love Indy and I love all those. Spielberg scares me to death, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
Because when you dig into all of his original decisions that he wanted to make on Raiders, they're horrible. They're terrible ideas. They're horrible ideas. Danny DeVito Asala is a terrible decision.
That's a horrible idea.
You know, the beauty of Jaws is the fact that the shark didn't work. And we never saw him. That's the beauty of that film.
Yeah.
That's not what he set out to make. So it's like, I get really nervous when I think of Steven.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true.
But I feel like Indy 4 is what he wanted to make and what they both wanted to make. And you go, So do I think we need a 5th one? Not really. I'm really content with my trilogy, but I'm also very excited to think of a new director. I think that's a smart move. I think that's a way to bring some new blood. I think that's the only way you could move forward, honestly.
I think you and I are on different boats when it comes to the Jungle Cruise movie.
I don't know yet. I'm still out. I don't know. I'm excited. Okay. I'll go see it. It's a 1930s Jungle Cruise movie.
Yeah,
okay,
you're going to see it. Yeah, you're going to see it.
Or 1920s. I have people that I know have read the script and said, no, it's good. It's actually good. We'll see. I don't know. At the end of the day, it's going to be better than Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, modern day Jungle Cruise movie.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for it.
I don't know. It might be horrible. I don't know. They didn't. The funny thing about it is, so I'm doing the Trader Brandon comic,
right?
Which just became I've never done a comic. Let's do this, which is the terrible way to run a business, but especially in comics, because. But
yeah,
my buddy that I came up with the story with it, Mark Walsh, he used to be up at Pixar. One day we sat around Imagineering in the lobby for like 10 minutes and said, if we were going to write a Jungle Cruise movie, what would it be? And in 10 minutes, we came up with this amazing story of what a Jungle Cruise movie should be. And this was right before they, I think, announced that they were going to do The Rocks. So ultimately, the 4 issues that we're doing of the comic is what we wanted the Jungle Cruise movie to be. So if everybody likes it, I'm sorry, but at least it's in a comic form.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Who would you like to see play Harrison in Who would you like to see play Harrison? I'm assuming that means play Indy.
Yeah. Nobody. If Harrison can't be Indy, then we don't need an Indiana Jones.
What about the TV show? What about Young Indy? Where are you on that? Sean Patrick Flannery.
Yes. Okay. That wasn't bad. I kind of liked that. It was fun as a kid. I haven't gone back, though. I need to revisit it.
They're great. I've gone back, and I actually pulled them out the other day because I'm like, it's quarantine time.
That's true.
You got to binge everything. So I pulled out all 3 volumes.
I have a VHS, I think.
Yeah, they finally did them on DVD. The best ones are the Japanese laser discs because it still has the original bookends with old Indy,
nice.
Which have been cut out of the DVD. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could do that in the film if you're going to do it because again, Harrison's going to be 80.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work. Ugh, I don't know. I don't know.
And at the end of the day, I don't really want to see Indy in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not enough Nazis then.
No. It's only like 3.
Unless they jump to... Never mind. won't say
It's like what's the show on Amazon right now with the is it Hunters?
The Pacino.
Yeah, but I think it's Hunters. Yeah, there's a couple, but I mean it's not enough to really do a whole film.
Right.
But what are you watching during your downtime, your quarantine time? You watching anything good?
Well, I started a movie podcast with some friends of mine, and it's called 70 Millimeter. And weekly we watch movies. And actually this week was
Nice.
Dune. I think that's why they were trolling me in the chat. We're talking Dune this week.
You've got so many friends.
Yeah, so Dune, we're chatting this week. I just went through Indy, all the Indies. I just throw on a movie while I'm working, basically. What did I watch? And what we watched, Casino, which was an amazing De Niro movie.
Sure.
Yeah, watched Molly's Game recently, which was weird. Pretty good. I don't know. All over the place, dude. I'm watching some BBC pottery show on in the evenings. It's so good, but I love it. It's like the Great British Baking, but for pottery. And it's really itching that scratch that I love pottery.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Why not? You got to watch something.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, dude. It's good talking.
It's been fun to chat. Once we get through all this, we'll meet at Sam's.
Oh, I'm all for that.
Grab a drink and tell stories.
Perfect.
Someone says you should watch Sunset Boulevard for your podcast.
No, Savannah.
I'm just going to go, and you guys can work this out on your own. I don't need to be here for this.
I'll jump on live, and we'll go.
You can jump on and defend yourself. I'm just getting in the way. It's getting awkward. I think we're good. All right. Well, stay safe out there. And sounds like you got it pretty well under control, but hopefully we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, man. It's good talking
eventually to you. Soon.
Cool.
Hopefully at Megacon.
Oh, let's hope. Fingers crossed.
All right. Stay safe.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Thanks, Danny. All right. You guys are mean to him. You guys have a lot of issues with Danny, so go over to his page and yell at him. All right. We've got Susan and Alex will be on the show tomorrow. Susan's from Last Rites in San Francisco. Alex is her partner. They just are kind of revitalizing your beverage programs in San Francisco. So they're on tomorrow. My good pal, Mr. Josh Shipley, will be on tomorrow's Thursday. He'll be on Friday. Brian Kessinger will be back Saturday. He's going to finish up his Jose piece. And then we've got we got Rebecca Lord on the 12th, Jeff Carlson on 13th. Mr. Nick Walker from Hamilton and Ain't Too Proud on Broadway will be here. And then on the 15th, our Skipper Roll Call. So there we go. That's as far as we've got. Well, and then the 16th, Mark Walsh will be joining us. So there you go. That's it. Leave the comments, post some photos, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay smart and stay safe, and we'll talk then. All right. Bye. Right.